happening, HC Nation? Hey, Zach Edwards here with another Minisode Monday, telling you about what happened this week in history. So let's get started. First off, November 6th, 1923 was the day that German inflation skyrocketed. I mean, it exploded. It used to be like 10 years before this point, so like 1913, the US dollar was worth about 4.2 of the German dollar. All of a sudden, during 1923, it went $1 US was worth 4.2 trillion German dollars. Wow, that's mind-blowing. I mean, that's like a piece of bread for a trillion US dollars, basically. Or the other way around. Whatever. Yeah. Okay, anyways, the next thing is happened in 1991, November 6th, 1991. The Communist Party was actually booted out of Russia. Great move on their part, at least from my opinion. So, continuing on, November 7th. This was when Jeannette Rankin of Montana became the first woman in Congress. This is 1916. So that's amazing. That was before a lot of the women's rights movements and everything like that. But because of Montana, they actually made the first U.S. member of Congress. I have to look a little bit more. Why don't you look it up a little bit? Her name is Jeannette Rankin from Montana. So great person to look up to find out what went on. 1916. And it doesn't actually say if it was part of the Senate or the House. It says Congress. So most of the times it would mean the House, but you never know sometimes. So look it up. This is interesting. So in a book that I have that tells what happened this day, has all these different things, but some of the stuff I've actually found is actually incorrect. Like, for this one, it says first black senator elected, 1966, Massachusetts, former Massachusetts Attorney General Edward Brooke. But he was not actually the first U.S. senator. The first U.S. senator was elected back in 1970, right after the Civil War, as part of the Reconstruction, and actually was elected out of Mississippi. So that's an amazing thing, because Mississippi, the first thing you think about was segregation, racism, those type of things. And the vote was actually 81, and this is the actual Senate, the legislature in the state elected him 81-15. Holy cow. I mean, that's a huge supermajority of people that elected an African American right after the Civil War to become a U.S. Senator. So this book's wrong, and we know the truth because there's a card on him. His name is Hiram Rhodes Revels. Great story, you gotta look him up. Okay, November 9th. This is actually interesting. This is actually the Night of Terror in Germany. This is when Nazis and their sympathizers, thugs, basically ran through the streets in Germany, destroying businesses, writing propaganda, writing swear words and all these derogatory terms about Jews on their businesses and attacking the businesses. So this is a really sad event that happened in 1938. Again, November 9th. Now continuing, November 10th, the Berlin Wall was actually breached. This was in 1989. Remember the old word, Gorbachev, bring down this wall, said by President Reagan? Yeah, soon afterwards is when East Germany released their wall, basically allowed people to cross over, and said, no, don't go, we'll have open elections. Well, sorry to say, millions of people from East Germany didn't believe them and took off. So I would say rightfully so. It's hard to believe a person that lost your trust a long time ago. And then the last one for this week, this was November 11th. The Great War ended. World War I was done. November 11th. Now, the death toll for the war was 9 million people. 27 million were injured on top of that. So when it finally ended, the world rejoiced because the death tolls were done. So thank you again for joining us for Minisode Monday and this look into history, everything that happened this week. We'll catch you next week. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon. Bye. If you have any comments or questions, add them to the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you next. We'll see you tomorrow. Actually, take care. Bye.